What if I told you that right now? Somewhere in an old coin jar, inside a forgotten collection, at the bottom of a drawer, or hidden among ordinary-looking coins, there could be a tiny piece of metal with a story far bigger than anyone around it realizes. Welcome back to American Coin Secrets, where every single day we bring you fresh coin discoveries, fascinating collecting stories, and exciting updates from the world of rare coins. And today you need to stay with me until the very end, because we are counting down 3 fascinating coins that have captured the attention of collectors, and the very first coin on today's list has a date, a mint mark, and a story that could make you look at small coins in a completely different way. The coin we are starting with may look simple at first glance. It is small. It is easy to overlook. And to most people, it might seem like nothing more than ordinary pocket change. But serious collectors know something that casual observers often forget. Sometimes the smallest details can create the biggest mysteries. A date, a mint mark, a striking characteristic, an unusual variety, a special error, the condition, the history behind how many examples survived. And when all of those pieces come together, an ordinary-looking coin can suddenly become the center of intense collector attention. So do not skip ahead. Watch closely. And if you have ever wondered whether an overlooked coin could be hiding a much more interesting story than its face value suggests, then today's video is for you. Because coin number 3, coin number 2, and the unbelievable story behind coin number 1 are waiting. Let's begin the countdown. First up, now take a deep breath and imagine this. You are holding a tiny Italian 2-euro-cent coin. At first, nothing seems unusual. It is small. It is lightweight. It has the familiar appearance of a modern European circulation coin. Most people would probably look at it for a second, and then drop it straight back into their change. But then you notice the date, 2007, and then you notice something else, the mint mark. Suddenly, this little coin becomes more than just a piece of change. It becomes a doorway into the fascinating world of modern European numismatics, mint identification, collector research, varieties, and the powerful truth that rarity is not always visible at first glance. And believe me, you are going to want to hear this entire story before deciding what that little 2007 R coin in your collection really means. Italy became part of the euro currency system when euro coins entered circulation in the early 2000s. Every participating country received the opportunity to create national designs for the reverse side of its euro coinage while sharing the common European side. Italy's euro coins quickly became known for their artistic and historical themes. The Italian 2-euro-cent denomination carries a design connected to one of Italy's great cultural treasures. The coin represents the extraordinary artistic heritage of a country whose history has influenced architecture, sculpture, painting, politics, science, and civilization for centuries. The 2-euro-cent may be one of the smallest denominations in the euro system, but its design carries a much larger historical identity. And that is one reason collectors continue to study these coins. Because a coin is never just metal. It is a date frozen in time. It is a product of a particular mint. It is part of a specific production year. And when collectors begin comparing examples side by side, searching for unusual characteristics, studying varieties, and examining preservation, even a tiny denomination can become the subject of serious attention. The R mint mark identifies production associated with the mint in Rome, one of Europe's historically important coin-producing institutions. That single letter may look insignificant, but in numismatics, tiny details matter. Sometimes, the difference between an ordinary example and a genuinely collectible variety can come down to something most people would never even think to examine. That is why experienced collectors do not simply glance at a coin. They investigate. They compare. They study. They verify. And they look closer. Because the story is often hidden in the details. The Italian 2-euro-cent belongs to the small denomination euro coin series and is produced from copper-covered steel, giving it its distinctive reddish appearance. That warm copper-colored surface is instantly recognizable among euro coins. But when you are examining a potential collectible example, do not simply look at the overall color. Look at the surfaces. Look at the lettering. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. Look carefully at the edges and design details. A coin in fine condition can still preserve enough of its original design to allow collectors to study its characteristics, although wear and circulation marks can affect desirability compared with higher-grade examples. The fascinating part is that every circulated coin has lived a journey. It has passed through hands. It has traveled through commerce. It may have sat unnoticed in jars, drawers, collections, purses, or boxes for years. And then one day, somebody stops, looks closer, and asks the question that every coin hunter loves. Could this one be different? That question has started countless collecting journeys. Now this is where the excitement really begins. A standard date and mint mark alone do not automatically make every coin extraordinarily valuable. And that is exactly why serious coin collecting requires patience and careful examination. Collectors become interested when there is a specific reason for scarcity or special demand. That can include an officially recognized variety, an unusual die characteristic, a dramatic mint error, a special production issue, a documented rarity, or an exceptional preservation level. The 2007 R marking gives collectors a precise starting point for identification. But the real thrill begins when you compare your coin against known specifications and authenticated examples. Is the design normal? Are the inscriptions where they should be? Does the coin show unusual doubling? Are there striking anomalies? Is there an unexpected feature? Could the piece belong to a recognized variety or error category? These are the questions that transform casual curiosity into real numismatic investigation. And that is why you should never rush. Never assume. Never decide based on a quick photograph alone. A genuine rare variety must be properly identified. And when a coin appears to have something truly unusual, professional authentication can become an extremely important next step. Because sometimes the most exciting discovery begins with the smallest detail. Now let's talk about the word that every collector loves: rarity. Rarity does not simply mean that a coin is old. It does not simply mean that the coin has an unusual appearance. True rarity is connected to survival, documented varieties, production characteristics, collector demand, and the number of verified examples available to the market. And condition can make that story even more important. A coin described as being in fine condition shows noticeable circulation, but it can still be a collectible piece depending on exactly what makes that individual coin special. If the coin is simply a normal circulation example, its value may remain modest. But if the same coin is part of a documented rare variety, a significant mint error, or another recognized collectible category, the conversation can change dramatically. That is why identification comes before celebration. And let me tell you something exciting. The smartest collectors are often not the people who simply buy the most expensive coins. They are the people who learn how to look. They study. They compare. They build knowledge. And when an unusual coin appears, they know enough to recognize that it deserves a second look. That knowledge itself is a treasure. The moment of revelation, the claimed $68,000 value. Now we have reached the part of the story that everyone has been waiting for. The 2007 RR Italy 2 Eurocent coin described for this video, in the specific fine condition rare variety or collectible form being claimed, is presented with a current market value of $68,000. That is an enormous figure for a coin that at first glance looks tiny and ordinary. But here is the most important thing every viewer must understand. $68,000 should not be treated as the automatic value of every Italy 2 Eurocent dated 2007 R. A value at that level would require solid evidence connecting the exact coin to a genuinely rare and highly sought-after variety, error, provenance, or documented sale. So if you have a 2007 R Italian 2 Eurocent, do not immediately assume you are holding $68,000. Instead, do what serious collectors do. Examine it carefully. Compare it with verified references. Photograph both sides. Check the weight and dimensions using reliable specifications. Look for unusual features. And if you believe you have discovered something exceptional, seek evaluation from a reputable numismatic expert or recognized authentication service. Because if an extraordinary rarity is genuinely confirmed, then that tiny piece of copper-colored coinage may represent something far more fascinating than ordinary change. A true numismatic discovery can feel like uncovering a hidden treasure that has been sitting silently in plain sight. And that possibility is exactly why millions of people around the world continue searching through coins. If you find an Italy €2 cent dated 2007 with the R mint mark, the first rule is simple. Do not clean it. Cleaning can damage the original surface and may reduce collector desirability. Instead, handle the coin carefully by its edges whenever possible. Store it in a suitable coin holder. Take clear photographs. Record where and when you found it. Then compare it against trustworthy numismatic references and verified examples. Pay special attention to unusual design characteristics, striking abnormalities, doubling, missing elements, unexpected shapes, or other features that separate the coin from standard examples. And remember, a rare coin is not confirmed because someone online makes a dramatic claim. The strongest treasure stories are the ones supported by evidence. That is how collectors protect themselves. That is how discoveries become documented. And that is how a fascinating coin story can move from rumor to reality. So what have we learned from this tiny Italian €2 cent? We have learned that size means absolutely nothing when it comes to the excitement of numismatics. A small coin can carry history. A single mint mark can lead to hours of research. An unusual feature can create powerful collector interest. And one overlooked coin can send you on a journey through mint records, varieties, authentication, and the incredible hidden world of rare coin collecting. The 2007 R Italy €2 cent is a perfect reminder to slow down and look carefully. Because sometimes the coins that appear the least impressive at first glance are the very coins that inspire the biggest questions. And we are only getting started. Because the next coin on today's countdown takes the mystery even further. So stay right here with American Coin Secrets. We bring you freshly updated coin stories and discoveries every day, exploring fascinating coins, rare varieties, hidden details, collector demand, and the incredible stories that can turn an ordinary-looking piece of metal into a subject of worldwide attention. And remember this, coin hunters, before you spend that change, before you ignore that old jar, before you walk past a forgotten collection, look again. Because the greatest discoveries often begin with one simple moment. A moment when someone finally decides to look closer. And coin number 2 is coming next. Next up, now, coin hunters. The countdown continues. And this time, we are traveling to the Arabian Peninsula, to a country with a deep history of trade, maritime power, ancient coinage, and a currency system that carries the identity of a nation. Imagine finding a tiny coin with a value of just 5 paisa. A coin so small that many people might never give it a second glance. A coin that could sit quietly in an old collection for years. A coin that might be mixed with foreign change, forgotten in a box, or passed from hand to hand without anyone stopping to study the details. But then you look closer. You see Oman. You see the year 1999. You see the Arabic inscriptions. And suddenly, this small piece of copper-clad steel becomes more than a tiny denomination. It becomes a connection to the modern coinage of Oman under Sultan Qaboos bin Said. And this is where the story becomes exciting, because the world of rare coins is full of surprises. A coin can have an ordinary denomination while still becoming interesting because of its date, variety, production characteristics, condition, or an unusual minting feature. So before you dismiss this little 1,999 Oman 5 paisa coin, look closer. Because sometimes the smallest coins carry the biggest stories. Oman has a remarkably long and fascinating monetary history. Because of its strategic position between the Middle East, India, and East Africa, the region historically experienced the circulation of many different foreign and regional currencies before the development of modern national coinage. The Central Bank of Oman describes this long history as stretching from early Islamic coinage through later periods when foreign currencies circulated and into the modern Omani monetary system. The modern Omani currency system is based on the Omani rial, which is divided into 1,000 paisa. That means the 5 paisa denomination represents a very small unit of the national currency. But collectors know something that ordinary spenders often forget. A coin's denomination tells you what it was intended to represent in everyday commerce. Its collectible importance depends on a completely different set of factors. Its year, its survival, its condition, its variety, its errors, its historical context, and, most importantly, whether the specific coin can be verified as something genuinely unusual. The 1999 Oman 5 Baisa belongs to the modern circulation series issued during the reign of Sultan Qaboos bin Said, whose name appears in Arabic on the coin. The obverse features Oman's national arms, while the reverse displays the denomination and both the Hijri and Gregorian dates, including 1420-1999. And that dual dating gives the coin an especially interesting visual identity. When you hold it, you are not simply looking at the year 1999. You are seeing two calendar systems brought together on one small piece of currency. That alone gives this coin a distinctive character for collectors who enjoy world coins and modern Middle Eastern numismatics. Now let's get closer. The 1999 Oman 5 Baisa is a round, copper-clad or copper-plated steel coin measuring approximately 19 millimeters in diameter and weighing about 2.65 grams. Its edge is plain. That copper-colored appearance can make the coin look simple at first. But for a collector, the physical characteristics are part of the investigation. When examining a potential rare variety, the weight, diameter, edge, lettering, design alignment, and overall appearance can all become important. This is where the real coin hunting excitement begins. Take the coin under good lighting. Look at both sides. Study the national arms. Look carefully at the Arabic inscriptions. Examine the date. Compare the design with reliable reference images. And then ask yourself the question every serious collector loves. Does anything look different? Is there unusual doubling? An abnormal strike? A missing design element? An unexpected metal or weight? An off-center strike? A dramatic die break? A major design anomaly? Because a normal 1999 Oman 5 Baisa and a genuinely exceptional mint error or documented rare variety are not the same thing. And sometimes that difference can be found in a detail so small that an ordinary glance would completely miss it. The first fascinating feature is its historical identity. The obverse connects the coin directly to the reign of Sultan Qaboos bin Said, while the national arms of Oman create a powerful symbol of the country's identity. On the reverse, the denomination is presented in Arabic, accompanied by the Hijri and Gregorian dates. The combination of 1420 and 1999 makes this particular issue instantly recognizable to collectors studying the series. But here is where every collector needs to pay attention. A normal example of this date is not automatically a high-value treasure. For the exact coin described in this video to justify an extraordinary valuation, it would need to possess and prove a genuinely rare feature, such as a recognized variety, significant minting error, exceptional provenance, or another documented characteristic that separates it from ordinary examples. And this is actually good news for serious coin hunters. Why? Because it means you should never stop at the date. Go deeper. Study the coin itself. The biggest discoveries are not made by assuming every old or foreign coin is valuable. They are made by identifying the one feature that makes a particular coin truly different. The 1999 Oman 5 Baisa has been catalogued by some numismatic databases as a scarce issue, although rarity ratings and market estimates can vary depending on the reference source and the exact coin being evaluated. Your coin is described as being in fine condition. That means it has circulated and shows wear, but it can still retain enough detail for proper identification and collection. Condition is always important. However, the most important question in a potential high-value discovery is not simply, is the coin old, or even, is the coin scarce? The real question is, if a coin has a major authenticated error or belongs to a documented rare variety, then the collector conversation can change completely. Demand can become intense when several collectors are pursuing a small number of verified examples. That is when a tiny coin can stop being merely a denomination and start becoming a numismatic prize. This is why authentication matters. A dramatic-looking feature should be examined carefully. Damage can sometimes imitate an error. Alterations can sometimes imitate a variety. And photographs can be misleading. The strongest coin discovery is one supported by reliable examination and professional verification. Because when a genuine rarity is confirmed, the story becomes far more powerful. And now, this is the moment you have been waiting for. The coin described for this video, the specific 1999 Oman 5 Bicer in fine condition, claimed to be a rare collectible example with an extraordinary qualifying feature, is presented with a claimed current market value of $51,000. That number is absolutely enormous compared with the tiny denomination stamped on the coin. But let me make one thing completely clear for your audience. $51,000 is not the normal current market value of every standard 1999 Oman 5 Bicer coin. Available numismatic references list ordinary examples at much lower levels, with one catalogue showing indicative values around the sub-dollar range depending on grade. So for a specific fine condition example to truly command $51,000, that price would need to be supported by strong evidence of an exceptional rarity, authenticated mint error or variety, provenance, or a verified high-value sale. And that is where the real suspense lives. Imagine discovering that the coin you thought was ordinary has a characteristic that requires professional examination. Imagine sending it for authentication. Imagine waiting for the results. That is the moment when coin collecting becomes more than a hobby. It becomes a treasure hunt powered by history, knowledge, patience, and discovery. A confirmed exceptional rarity can be the kind of numismatic treasure collectors dream about finding hidden inside an overlooked group of coins. Not fiction, not fantasy, but a discovery that must be supported by facts. If you own an Oman 5 Bicer dated 1999, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not scrape the surface to make it look newer. Original surfaces can be important to collectors, and improper cleaning can permanently affect desirability. Handle the coin carefully, preferably by the edges. Store it in a suitable holder. Take clear photographs of both sides. Record the weight and diameter if you have accurate equipment. Compare it with verified reference examples. And pay close attention to anything unusual. If you see a major difference, do not immediately declare victory. Research it. Compare it. And if the evidence continues to look promising, consider obtaining an opinion from a reputable numismatic professional or authentication service. Because knowledge is the collector's greatest advantage. A person who understands what to look for can recognize details that thousands of other people may completely overlook. So, what makes the 1999 Oman 5 Bicer such an exciting coin to investigate? Its small size hides a much larger story. Its connection to Oman's modern monetary history. Its association with Sultan Qaboos bin Said. Its Arabic inscriptions. Its dual Hijri and Gregorian date. Its copper-clad steel composition. And, most importantly, the possibility that an individual example could contain an unusual characteristic requiring closer examination. That is the true thrill of coin collecting. You never know which coin will make you stop. You never know which detail will send you searching through catalogs. And you never know when one small discovery will open the door to a much bigger story. So check those old foreign coins again. Look carefully at the dates. Study the minting. Examine the designs. And never underestimate a small coin simply because of its denomination. Here on American Coin Secrets, we bring you freshly updated coin stories and collecting discoveries every day, exploring fascinating coins, hidden varieties, unusual minting characteristics, collector demand, and the incredible history behind the coins people often overlook. And now, the countdown is not over, because coin number 1 is still waiting. And if you think a tiny 5 Bicer coin can hide an extraordinary story, wait until you see what comes next. Stay with American Coin Secrets, because the biggest surprise of today's countdown is still ahead. Next up, and now, coin hunters, we have reached the final coin of today's incredible countdown. The last mystery, the last surprise, and perhaps the coin that proves better than anything else that you should never judge a coin by its face value. Imagine finding a small Qatar 25 dirham coin dated 2012. It is not made of gold. It does not look like a giant treasure. It is only a small circulation coin. And yet, when a collector starts looking beyond the denomination, and begin studying the date, design, variety, composition, minting characteristics, and unusual features, the story can become far more exciting. Because this is the world of rare coins, a world where a tiny detail can matter, a world where one unusual feature can send collectors searching through catalogs and auction records, and a world where the difference between an ordinary coin and an extraordinary collectible can sometimes be discovered only after someone decides to stop and look much closer. So do not look away, because this final coin takes us to the state of Qatar, and the 2012 issue carries some fascinating details that make it worth examining. The Qatar 25 dirham is part of the modern Qatari currency system, where the Qatari riyal is divided into smaller dirham denominations. The 2012 coin belongs to a series issued during the reign of Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, who ruled Qatar from 1995 until 2013. The coin carries Qatar's national emblem, featuring crossed swords, a traditional dhow sailing on the water, an island, and palm trees. That design is more than decoration. The dhow represents Qatar's historical relationship with the sea, trade, and maritime life. The palm trees and other elements of the emblem connect the coin to the national identity of the country. And the inscriptions tell us something else fascinating. The coin uses both the Hijri and Gregorian calendars, displaying the corresponding date 1433-2012. So when you hold this little coin in your hand, you are holding a piece of modern currency that connects two calendar systems, national symbolism and Qatar's monetary history. And that is where the fascination begins. Because coins are historical documents in miniature. They preserve rulers. They preserve symbols. They preserve dates. And sometimes, they preserve a mystery. The standard 2012 Qatar 25 dirham is catalogued as a round, magnetic, nickel-plated steel circulation coin measuring approximately 20 millimeters in diameter and weighing about 3.1 grams with a reeded edge. It was produced as part of Qatar's 2008-2012 circulation series. That means the first step in investigating a potentially unusual example is to examine the physical characteristics carefully. Check the weight. Check the diameter. Study the edge. Compare the lettering. Look at the alignment of the design. And then inspect every detail under strong light. Because a genuine minting error or rare variety must be separated from ordinary circulation damage. An unusual mark does not automatically mean rarity, but a properly documented and authenticated difference can be extremely important. And this is where the excitement becomes real, because your eyes may notice something that thousands of people before you ignored. A detail, a variation, an abnormal strike, a missing element, an unusual surface, or another characteristic that deserves expert examination. The 2012 issue itself has an identifiable design variety associated with the denomination numerals, including the smaller 5 detail catalogued for the 2012 date. The issue is listed in numismatic references as part of the magnetic 25 dirham series. That means collectors should study the exact design rather than relying only on the year. Compare the denomination. Compare the date. Compare the inscriptions. And compare the national emblem with verified examples. The most exciting discoveries often happen when a collector notices that a coin does not perfectly match the expected characteristics. But here is the important rule. Never assume. Always verify. A coin can appear unusual because of post-mint damage, environmental effects, alteration, or photography. A truly valuable rarity needs evidence. And evidence is what separates a fascinating rumor from a genuine numismatic discovery. The 2012 Qatar 25 dirham has been catalogued by some collector references as very scarce, although the reported mintage for the standard 2012 circulation issue is approximately 12 million pieces. Catalogues also list ordinary examples at relatively low prices depending on grade. Your coin is described as being in fine condition. A fine condition coin shows circulation and wear, but it can still be highly important if the individual piece belongs to a genuinely rare category. And this is the key to understanding high-value coins. It is not simply the year. It is not simply the denomination. It is not simply the country. It is the exact combination of characteristics that makes one individual example different from millions of ordinary coins. If a particular 2012 Qatar 25 dirham carries a significant authenticated mint error, a documented rare variety, extraordinary provenance, or another exceptional feature, collector interest could become dramatically stronger. That is why the search for rare coins is so exciting. You are not only looking for an old coin, you are looking for the unexpected. And now, this is the moment the entire countdown has been building toward. The specific 2012 Qatar 25 dirham, in fine condition described for this video, claimed to possess a rare and extraordinary qualifying characteristic, is presented with a claimed current market value of $58,000 tapua. Think about that for a moment. A tiny coin, a denomination of only 25 dirhams, a piece of metal that could easily be overlooked by someone who does not understand what they are looking at. And yet, if an individual example were genuinely authenticated as an extraordinary rarity, with evidence supporting a $58,000 sale or appraisal, it would represent a remarkable numismatic treasure. However, this point is essential for accuracy. $58,000 is not the established value of every standard 2012 Qatar 25 dirham in fine condition. Current catalogue references for ordinary examples place them dramatically lower, with indicative fine condition values around only a fraction of a dollar. So before anyone believes they have discovered a $58,000 coin, the exact piece must be professionally examined and the extraordinary feature must be authenticated. And that is where the true suspense begins. Imagine discovering something unusual. Imagine researching it. Imagine comparing it with known examples. Imagine experts confirming that the feature is genuine. That is the moment when an ordinary-looking coin can become the center of an extraordinary story. A confirmed rarity is not just a coin. It is history. It is research. It is evidence. And for collectors lucky enough to make a genuine discovery, it can feel like uncovering a hidden treasure that had been waiting silently to be noticed. If you find a Qatar 25 dirham dated 2012, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not scratch it. And do not attempt to change its appearance. Preserving the coin in its original state is extremely important. Handle it carefully. Store it in a proper coin holder. Take clear photographs of both sides. Check its approximate weight and diameter using accurate equipment. Compare the date and denomination details with trusted references. And pay close attention to anything that appears different from normal examples. If you believe you have found a major minting error or rare variety, seek an opinion from a reputable numismatic professional or authentication service. Because in the rare coin world, knowledge is the real treasure map. The more you learn, the better your chances of recognizing something unusual. And there you have it, coin hunters. Today we explored 3 fascinating coins that prove one powerful lesson. Never underestimate a coin because it is small. Never ignore a coin simply because it looks ordinary. And never assume that the story ends with the denomination printed on its surface. We traveled from the Italy 2 euro cent 2007 R to the Oman 5 Baisa 1999 and finally to the Qatar 25 dirham 2012. Each coin carries its own history, its own design, its own mystery, and its own reason to make collectors look closer. The claimed extraordinary values discussed in this video apply only to specific coins that can be supported by proper evidence, authentication, and documented rare characteristics, not to every normal coin with the same date. So keep searching, keep learning, keep examining those dates, mint marks, inscriptions, and unusual details. Because somewhere, in an old coin collection, a forgotten box, or a group of foreign change, there may be a coin waiting for someone with the knowledge to recognize that it is different. And that is why the hunt never ends. Welcome to the world of hidden numismatic treasures. Welcome to American Coin Secrets. We bring you freshly updated coin stories and discoveries every day, helping collectors explore rare coins, fascinating varieties, unusual minting characteristics, and the incredible history hiding inside the coins people often overlook. If you enjoyed today's countdown, stay connected with American Coin Secrets. Because tomorrow, there could be another coin, another mystery, another forgotten piece of history. And another reason to look through your collection one more time. Because sometimes, the smallest coin can hide the biggest story.